Hello, everybody. It is me, Pacific. Today, I wanted to talk about something very interesting. This is a true story. The facts are 100% accurate. Kels did a video yesterday. I watched it. She said, I love my boyfriend, but hate his dog. She did that because I asked her to tell me her story that she had already told me previously. And she did that because she had watched a video, and now I can't remember the name of it. The video I did about people and their pet obsession in America. That was the name of it. And excuse me, forgive me for being a pig. Sometimes I like to be a pig. In 1994, I married a woman, and I knew that she had a cat. I was okay with that. Cat's harmless. Litter box trained, pretty quiet cat. And I made the mistake, viewers, of rushing way too fast into marriage. To be very honest with you, I dated her for 1 week as a complete stranger, married her in 5 weeks. I stayed in that marriage for 14 years, even though I realized the first week of marriage I had made a very, very bad choice for me. Without getting into all that, let me tell you what happened the first week after she moved into my place. I had a very nice place. I rented the top floor in a mansion. It was a little more than I could afford, but I had lived in a crummy neighborhood for 2 years and I'd had enough. There was one block down the street from me. Native Americans were knifing each other in the apartment building. That made the news. There was just a lot of crime, a lot of problems. I was not safe walking home, so I moved to the east end of Duluth, Minnesota, and rented this nice brick mansion. The top floor was the attic. The lady who owned the house, converted it into a nice apartment furnished with antiques, and it was just great. So in moves my wife. And one night I couldn't sleep. I have to get up very early for the work that I had done up there at 4:30 in the morning, and this cat of hers would jump on the bed. Well, the cat wasn't used to me. I understand that. See me, jump back off. Not a minute would go by, the cat would jump back on the bed, jump back off, and this went on, and she was sitting there in the dark, laughing. And it was funny at first, but then I said, I really got to get to bed. She laughed, and she would baby talk to the cat. The cat's name was Moku or Moki, and she'd go, Moki, Moki, oh, you're so cute, Moki. That bothered me. That really bothered me. She was older than me. She was a professional in the white-collar world, mid-level management gal, and I couldn't believe the way she was talking to this animal. So she was awake, and I finally snapped on. I said, you know what? I need to get to sleep. This isn't going to work. I'm going to get the cat box, and the food, and put everybody in the bathroom and shut the door for the evening. I found a perfectly reasonable solution so I get to sleep. I turned on the light. Viewers, what I'm about to tell you is going to shock you. The facts have not been altered. Names are avoided to protect the identity of some. And I'm going to tell you that to this day, this woman has never, ever admitted that she was wrong for any of this. Even when other people told her she was out of line, even though other people that I told the story to were like, are you serious? When I turned on the light, she sat bolt upright in bed and started yelling and screaming very loudly. And I said, what is your problem? My ex-husband used to come in at 2 o'clock in the morning and turn on the light and wake me up. I said, but you're awake. You're laughing about the cat. I didn't wake you. Your cat is keeping me awake. She argued with me for 30 minutes, yelling, lambasting, screaming. I could not get her to calm down. I picked up the cat, put it in the bathroom. I said, you're making a big deal about something when I can't get to sleep and you're laying there finding this funny. It's not funny anymore. This was a problem. It was at that point that I realized that this woman who was seemingly on our date for that week, she seemed so sweet. She talked in this little kid voice. She'd answer the phone and say, "This is so and so." Remember something, guys. Those things that you think are cute in the beginning will become very irritating very quickly. Never marry cute. Puppies are cute, but they're a pain in the butt. Marry somebody you're attracted to. Marry somebody that turns you on, but don't marry cute. So, that being said, one of the things that bothered me was this cat would also hawk up fur balls. Okay, women and men, how many of you like to hear the sound of a cat getting ready to throw up? It is disgusting. And this happened so much. It was a very nice place I lived in, shag carpet, the whole thing. And what bothered me was that she didn't care and it would hawk up this fur ball that you'd have to scrub out. And I said, that is not going to work in here. "Oh, well, he's just a cat, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'll clean it up." And I said, "Yeah, well, there's little puke spots all over." So, what I finally did was I tried to work with her and saying, at night, the cat goes in the bathroom, stuff like that. I found a way to adjust, compromise, and accommodate this. Then we had to move across the country. We had spent some time in Los Angeles. We're moving back to Denver. And we had the cat in the truck. For some reason, we had like 400 miles to drive that day. The cat had been able to get out and do its business and stuff like that. In fact, we even had the cat box in the cab of the U-Haul. This cat started to go, "Wow!" And this went on and on and on. I got very upset. And I said, "You do something about that cat, or I'm going to stop and let that thing out in the Utah wilderness, and I'm going to put a stop to it right now." Here's where the rub is, men and ladies. For those that think that pets have more rights than people, one of the things that really is tough to deal with is that I know many American women would tell me, "You are so cruel. You are so horrible." It's funny. And I'm going to switch to something here. This cat was such a problem that my then wife would not even get up out of bed. We needed to get up and get going, and the cat would be curled up against her. I said, "Hon, we need to go." "I know, but I don't want to move Moki. Look, she's so cute." "I don't care how cute she is. We need to get going." She didn't want to disturb the cat from its sleep. Stuff like this. She behaved worse with that cat than she did with a baby child. In other words, the cat had more preeminence, more control over her than when we had our son. I finally sat down one day and I said, "You have inordinate affection towards this animal. You have put this animal above your husband." And I said, from a Christian point of view, that is just not right. From a respect point of view, you are telling me that that cat is worth more to me. And I know many women would cheer her on and go, "That's right." I find the following things to be true. Women that give inordinate affection to their animals are immature, stunted in their emotional growth, and have latched onto a creature rather than other human beings. When I go walking, I have told you viewers that I watch men and women, and I'm seeing, like in the Washington Park area of Denver, a lot of men with their dogs, and I've noticed something. Pet owners are often jerks. I've told you guys before, in Denver, you will see somebody in an SUV with a dog on their lap, cut somebody off in a crosswalk with the dog hanging out the window. Of course, they like to do that. Look at me, look at my dog, I'm cool. No, you're stupid. Why is the dog on your lap? Or the guys with the dogs, the big pit bulls in the bed of their pickup. And I sit there and go, why don't the police pull that over? You want to talk about animal cruelty? You go around the corner too fast, the dog's going to fly out of the bed of the truck. I have seen enough evidence that I could have volumes of books to prove my point. That Americans that are obsessed with their pets are not nice neighbors and they're not good people. Let me tell you what happened next door over here. Got a guy who's in the concrete business, has a very loud dog. I'm not going to duplicate except to say that when it barks, whoa, 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 and doesn't stop. The bedroom I stay in is very close to the property line, and the dog barks and barks and barks. I called him. He was very polite. I said, hey, neighbor, sorry to bother you. Do you think you could bring that dog in? I have to get up very early in the morning, and that dog just keeps barking, and I don't know what it's barking at. He left a message the next morning when I was doing a field trip that said the following. I got a little pissy when you called me about my dog. Every time you get up in the morning, your truck wakes me up. Let me stop right there. My truck does not have glass packs on it. I have heard new vehicles that are louder than my truck. We live on a major boulevard out here with bikers going by, you know, the loud Harleys going, "Wah!" And I mean, it is noisy out there. But I've gotten used to the traffic. The dog barking is what I call that staccato noise that jars you over and over, very loud. There's raccoons in the backyard, foxes, critters, skunks, and this dog barks at the rustling of a leaf. Why do I say this? And I said to him, neighbor, my truck is not any louder than anything else out there. In fact, it's not even as loud as some of these new vehicles with glass packs and enhanced exhaust systems, dual exhaust, etc. I start my truck and run it for 60 seconds. I time myself. The idle bumps down, and I leave. My truck has a nice, just a very slight throaty roar, but it's not a blah, 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 any of that. I leave the driveway. I idle out of the driveway. I don't romp on it. He even said that. He says, I noticed you don't put your foot in it. This went on. He wasn't going to change. So one night he let it bark for 2 hours till 11 p.m. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to yell out the window at the dog anymore. I'm just going to call animal control the next morning. I told him exactly what happened. They've had so many problems in the suburbs out here that they said, we're just going to put a warning on his door, and if you document for 2 weeks that this continues, we will slap a subpoena on both of you, and you guys can go to court, and the judge will fine them. Cool, let's do it. Haven't heard a peep out of the dog since. Now he's mad at me, won't talk to me. This man is older than me, he's in the construction business, but he got his feelings hurt, and he's upset. By the way, other people have complained about this partner's dog. They're tired of it. Every woman I've lived next door to with a barking dog will not be courteous to the neighbor. That is a fact. They will let the dog bark all day and all night, and they will do nothing about it. I was married to this woman for 14 years. When we moved back to Denver, we moved in and rented from a lady who had a male cat. She allowed us to rent a room in her home. The two cats did not get along, so we had to keep the cat in our bedroom, which was not fun by me, but I adapted to it. One day the two cats got out, and the male just about killed it. The lady said, in order for you guys to stay, I'm going to have to ask you, you're going to have to get rid of that cat. We were in the process of looking for an apartment, and at that time they wanted hefty pet deposits because in Denver, irresponsible pet owners let their dogs pee, poop, and scratch the apartment up. And I understand people wanted $400 or $500 or $800 down for pets, $300. I was like, you know what? We don't have that. So I went to her and I said, we have a problem. Now this animal is affecting our living situation, and we are just getting back on our feet and getting jobs. We're paying rent to this lady who's good enough to let us rent her home. You're going to have to do something. Why don't you give it to one of your friends? This is what she said. Oh, I could never do that. It would be so heartbroken. And she started crying. She told me to take it down to the, what is it called? Oh, I forgot the name of it. But it's a place where they euthanize animals. She had me do it. I took him down, paid the fee. They put the cat down. It was sad. I cried. I thought, what a shame, you know. After we divorced in 2007, she told my son and all her friends that I murdered her cat. This story is true. Everybody knew why the animal had to be put down. I did not push for this. I said, you can put it up for adoption, you can do something, but we do have to get rid of it. I did not advocate the death penalty for the cat. The woman to this day still tells people that I murdered her cat. And my own son had to go to her and said, you know, Dad told me the true story of this, and I don't believe that that's true. In American society, viewers, I'm going to say it, women are the worst when it comes to pets. Men can be jerks too, but women are the absolute worst. I have had women that I've signed animal control complaints, and they keep doing it, doing it, and doing it. I know people that live in nice, exquisite neighborhoods, side-by-side townhomes, and a woman will buy a big, barking dog that barks in the unit next door, coming through the bedroom wall. You bang on the wall, you talk to the neighbor, you cannot get anything done. Do Americans have a problem with putting pets on a pedestal? 100%. Do Americans have a dysfunction with regard to pets? You better believe it. We have starving people globally, and Americans could care less about that, but they'll spend big money on pets. A man came through the aisle at Walmart with a 50-pound bag of dog food, and he said to the clerk, he said, I believe I should get some sort of a government kickback on all the dog food I buy. And I wanted to say, are you serious? If you get rid of the dog, you don't have to buy all this dog food. Sadly, this is the way people think. They think that they're in the right. They think it's okay to have these animals, and that's fine. But when the animals affect other people, when I see how much people are spending in vet bills and dog food and hundreds of dollars a month, and I told you viewers in my video of the Australian couple that had in their employ the woman I got involved with in Hong Kong, that woman told me they spend more per month on the two dogs than they do in her salary. And I thought, are you serious? Chalk one up for the Aussies. Not. In Hong Kong, the Aussies bring their dogs that are used to roaming big acreages and property into flats in Hong Kong, high rises, and they bark and bark and bark and tear up the sofas and pee and bark. And as I told you before, the buildings in China are tile. So the noise echoes around and just reverberates through the place. It has gotten so bad that a lot of people that don't have pets can't even, they said, I don't even want to live in this building. And people are saying they need to put all the pet people in one building and all the non-pet people in another building. And a lot of the Chinese can't stand it. They got, you know, these people are rude. I have a problem with what I call pet worship, or putting pets above people or animals above people. And the silly little immature gray-haired women with the dog paw shirts and the dog paws on the back of their SUV, I want to yell, grow up. A dog is a dog, and I love animals. I love animals too, just like Kells does. But I look at what people have done in our society, and there is a huge dysfunction. People who are this into animals need mental counseling, because what they have done is they have shifted their focus off people and put their affections on animals above and beyond what is reasonable. The story I told you about my ex-wife is true. I have many witnesses that can attest to the foolishness of this, and it was a big problem for many years of our marriage. Big problem. I will personally never own a pet. I, just like Kel said, the dog, they'd want their private time in their room. Her and her partner and this dog would whine and whimper. They are as bad as children, and we expect it from children. But a dog and a cat can bring you to your knees. They have no regards for antique furniture and doors and carpeting, and they could care less. They're animals. They poop on it, they scratch it up, they tear it up. And yet I watch mothers when I grew up, the dogs would get into stuff and tear up. I remember the dog got into my room and tore up something that was special to me. I was very upset. Walked outside and my mother brushed that off and made some snide remark. And I thought, I grew up in a house where my mother had 4 cats, 3 dogs, and 2 goats. She was cruel to us kids. She was abusive to us kids. While she ignored what the animals did, even her own husband would come home and the cats would scratch and claw at the couch and poop in the corner, and he would get frustrated and she would turn and get mad at him for his anger towards the animals. So I grew up watching this. I know what I'm talking about. Pet obsession in America is at an all-time high. And I will tell you, I have finally made a decision. If a woman has dogs and cats, I will not date her. I don't want anything to do with it. I look at the foolish behavior exhibited by women with regards to their animals, that it's okay for the animals to tear up their house and bark and keep the neighbors awake. All that tells me right there is that's not a woman I want to live with. She is irresponsible, inconsiderate, and immature at best. Kels, thank you for that video. It was informative. I am very glad that your partner was wise enough to choose you over a pet. I can honestly tell you, I have heard women, high maintenance women, say, oh, if he doesn't like my dog, it's over. You think that we don't have a problem here in America? You better believe we do. Women that put their pets and call them family need mental health counseling. I'm sorry, a dog and a cat is not family. I don't believe that. And I'm not going to get into theology here, but I'm going to say that pets are pets. They are animals. They are not family. They are not birthed by you. They are not blood related to you. And they are not family. Grow up, ladies in America. People are important, not dogs and cats. Sorry, this is Pacific. Signing off. Everybody like my little piggy? Isn't that cute?